Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial on using Python and data science to analyze technical indicators in the stock market. The basic idea here is that we come across a ton of different indicators and everyone has their preferences, right? Because you've used different things in the past, you've seen how they work, and you have a different level of comfort with each of them. But at the end of the day, it's all about how much, which helps you make most money, right? So what I'm trying to do here is to show exactly how useful each indicator is from a statistical perspective. Here is an overview of what I'm trying to do here. So the first step is to get the historical data using Yahoo Finance, and the second step is to add the technical indicators to that data. The third step is where I encourage you all to download the notebook from my GitHub and use your own domain knowledge to add new signals. Now, what do I mean by signals exactly? Let's take a look at RSI for example, a very well known and widely used technical indicator. And generally, when RSI goes above 70, we consider the stock to be overbought and expect a correction. Now, thinking about this in code, we can say that if RSI is greater than 70, then output 0, assuming that 0 means a downward trend and 1 means an upward trend. Currently, I've created a few different signals using some of the most commonly used indicators, but you can use any indicator that you can conjure up. Finally, step 4 is visualizing our results using heat maps and drawing inferences from them about the indicators. We'll be using the Nifty 50 data across 5 decades as our dataset. We'll be using various libraries and tools like Yahoo Finance, TAlib, numpy, pandas to create indicators, generate signals, and visualize our results on heat maps. And as we look through the results, I will also explain a bit about precision recall for a bit more understanding about what exactly these visualizations mean for us. So for the video, we are concentrating only on analyzing the buy signals. Our goal is to figure out which indicators are how effective over what period of time. So let's take a look at the chart here for Chola Finance for the past 6 months. We can see there's like a lot of ups and downs. What we want to figure out is, say, for this specific period, Jan 31st to Feb 6th, there's a 10% increase over approximately 4-5 days. Again, if you look at this specific section, almost a 17 or 15% increase over 13-14 days. For this period, we see a 7% increase over almost close to a month. So we have a varying set of time horizons and a varying set of price changes. Here is the ground truth for the data. We want to see what kind of accuracy we get without using any logic, just blindly buying any arbitrary stock for an arbitrary amount of time. Since we are only looking for the buy signals, let's familiarize ourselves with this data particularly. So the y-axis shows the shifting period, which is the time horizon for the trade. This ranges from 5 days to 30 days, and the values show the probability of profit for the given time horizon. The observation is that the trades tend to be more profitable over a longer duration. Now, this obviously makes sense because India has seen an overall bullish trend from the 1970s, and over a longer period of time, trades will be more accurate but not necessarily more profitable. Now, looking at the other side, this shows the same visual but for a smaller data set with higher changes in price. So, assume a data set has 100 days worth of data, and let's say 30 of those days had a price movement of plus minus 10% over the next 5 days. So we then reduced the data set to this new size of 30 days only. Now when we look at the two visuals side by side, we see that the probabilities are clearly higher for the high volatility data set. What this also translates to is that the technical indicators give more accurate signals on days when there is higher expected volatility. Now, the reason I say expected volatility is because you cannot know if 5 days from now the price will be up or down by 10%, right? If we knew that, there would be no point in doing all of this. But for finding out the efficacy of technical indicators, we can use the future price data for the creation of the dataset. The first thing we need to take a look at is a more detailed visualization of the ground truth. Now, apart from the shifting period, we also have threshold change on the x-axis. This corresponds to the price change that we talked about earlier, The way to look at this visual is if you have a data set that has only those points where there is a 15% increase or decrease, arbitrary trading will give you a 70% accuracy on the 30-day time horizon. Similarly, for an 8% change in price, you get an accuracy of 62% on the 5-day time horizon. One last thing that I want to talk about before showing the results is precision and recall. Imagine a perfect football player, an attacker say. This perfect player can create a chance on goal every time it is possible to do so and scores every time he takes a shot. Let's say this player creates 10 chances, takes 10 shots out of a possible 10 in total. This would give him a recall of 1. And out of the 10 shots that this person shoots, all 10 of them result in a goal. That gives this player a precision of 1. Now let's say we have Benzema, a pretty great striker but not perfect. If Benzema is able to create only 7 chances given the exact same circumstances and scores 4 goals, he would have a recall of 0.4 and a precision of 0.57. In other words, recall refers to the percentage of chances a footballer creates that results in goals, and precision refers to the percentage of shots a footballer takes that results in goals. The first indicator we look at is RSI. If RSI dips below 30, then we look at it as a buy signal. I will try to explain this one in a bit more detail and then quickly go over the others once the pattern of observation starts to get clearer. Firstly, the recall for the signal is quite low. This means that it misses out on a lot of possible correct buy signals or goals as we came to understand it previously. This is obvious because we don't see a lot of days where the RSI is below 30. It is usually in the 30 to 70 range, and that's why low recall is not surprising. As for precision, it is evident that RSI usually works well for really short or long term changes in price. Let me give an example. In this chart for Infosys, we see two areas where RSI has gone below 30 and subsequently made a sharp correction. Now for this chart, we can see this buy signal holds true for different time horizons. The first one can be profitable for both short and long term trades, but the second one is not profitable in the short term. Once the RSI drops below 30, the price still falls a bit further before reaching the bottom. You might think, can't we then use the limit of 20 as the limit for the signal? So yeah, I mean absolutely you can. All you need to do is change that line in the code to get the new visual. Looking at this, we see a few changes from the previous chart. Firstly, the recall is even lower, but the precision is higher. In fact, when comparing with the ground truth in the top right corner, we can see that this signal is better for a couple of these specific areas like the shifting period of 5 and the threshold change of 0.3. And understandably so, the lower the RSI drops, the faster the correction is expected to come. But the trade-off is that you will get fewer chances created as the lower recall shows. Going back to the Infosys chart, the second area shows an example where the RSI drops below 20 with a sharp and quick correction shortly after. Let's look at one last signal before we wrap this up. The EMA signal, another commonly used indicator. Here we give the buy signal if the price is above the exponential moving average. It usually signifies an upward trend and is a fairly common market condition as the recall shows. Over 50% of the time, the price stays above the EMA according to the recall. Now the precision is higher than the ground truth across the board for this visual. What this means is that it is usually better to go long when the price is above the EMA. I have seen a lot of strategies where this is the base condition for the trades. It kind of acts as a way to filter to get only those days where the probability of profitable trades is higher. While I have explained only 3 indicators here, the notebook has many more like volume, Bollinger Bands, MACD, and more with variations of each. You can download the notebook from the link in the description to start your own experimentation. Something I recommend trying out is to combine multiple signals together, since most strategies make use of more than one indicator for much more precise signals. Do let me know in the comments if you would like a code walkthrough for this notebook, and don't forget to subscribe if you liked the video.